Hello, my name is Pilleriin Sikka and I'm a postdoctoral researcher in the lab of Dr. Boris Heifetz at Stanford University. And the overall goal of our research project is to investigate the transformative potential of anesthesia-induced dream states. Millions of individuals across the world are diagnosed with anxiety disorders, including post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. PTSD is a serious mental health condition triggered by experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. People with PTSD keep reliving their traumatic experiences while awake and have nightmares about them while asleep. They may have flashbacks, feel constantly on edge, and go out of their way to try to avoid anything that reminds them of the trauma. Although there are many different ways to treat PTSD, existing therapies do not work for 2/3 of patients. That means many people aren't finding the relief they desperately need. Clearly then, we need to find a better way to treat PTSD. In this project, we will develop a new way to help those suffering from PTSD and other mental health issues. We will use anesthesia to induce and maintain a specific altered state of consciousness, anesthesia dreaming. Anesthesia is induced by specific drugs that lead to a temporary loss of consciousness, during which people cannot be woken up, even in response to very painful stimulation, such as during surgery. Typically, we think that people are totally unconscious during anesthesia, but is it necessarily so? Although being aware of the environment under the surgery is extremely rare, thankfully so, people do have internally generated experiences in the form of dreams. What is interesting is that, differently from sleep dreams, anesthesia dreams are typically pleasant and can even be transformative. Recently, together with our colleagues at Stanford, we reported 2 patients whose trauma symptoms improved after anesthesia-induced dreaming during surgery. One patient, Mare, had lost her son, Zain, to suicide. Because of this, she suffered from PTSD, anxiety, and depression, and had constant nightmares about her son. Now, she came to the hospital to have surgery for a different reason. It was part of her breast cancer treatment. When she emerged from anesthesia, she recalled 2 euphoric dreams. In the first dream, she re-experienced the birth of her son Zain as deeply joyful. In the second dream, well, let's hear how she describes the experience.
It was Sammy at 15. It was Zain, about at the age he died, and our 1-year-old dog named Moxie. Zain always wanted a dog, and for different reasons, we couldn't get a dog with the house we rented and blah, blah, blah. And so, in my dream, Zain, Sammy, as a 15-year-old now, and the dog were running through this park, and it was this like, oh my God, there's Zain, seeing the dog and Sam, and I start waking up a bit more, and I realized that Zain is dead, and that it was just a dream. Dr. Chow said that I said to him, it's okay, thank you for giving me that time with Zain.
What is really impressive is that a month after the surgery, Mare no longer had symptoms of PTSD, depression, or anxiety, and she no longer had nightmares. And these effects have actually lasted now for more than a year. And in fact, Mare herself has said that these anesthesia dream experiences saved her life. So can we use anesthesia to treat mental health conditions? This is what we're trying to find out in this research project. But how are we going to do this? We will carry out 2 studies. In the first study, we will develop a brain marker of anesthesia dreaming using electroencephalography or EEG. This is a tool that can measure electrical brain activity. For this, we will ask healthy participants to come to the lab. We place an EEG cap on their head, attach them to different monitors to measure vital signs, and then we induce anesthesia by infusing the drug propofol. Soon after, the participants become unconscious. We then reduce the dose of propofol to reach a state during which we believe the participants are dreaming. We will test several possible brain markers that may signify that the participant is in a dream state. After keeping the participants in that dreaming state for 15 minutes, we then wake the participants up and ask whether they had any dreams during anesthesia, and if they had, what these experiences were like. After this, we perform another anesthesia session, and this time the goal is to reach a brain state during which participants do not have any dream experiences. We will keep the participants in that state for 15 minutes, after which we stop propofol infusion, wake participants up and ask about their experiences. In the second study, we will test whether intentionally inducing dreams during anesthesia can reduce symptoms of PTSD. For this, we will conduct a double-blind randomized control trial in which we will divide patients with PTSD into two groups. In group 1, we will induce dreams during anesthesia. In group 2, we will induce a no-dream state during anesthesia. We will keep patients in this state for 15 minutes. We will then wake participants up, ask about their experiences, but most importantly, we will test whether there's a reduction in PTSD symptoms in those who had a dream as compared to those who did not have a dream during anesthesia. So why is this research important? Why are we doing this? Why should we care? If our approach works, it could radically transform the way we treat PTSD and other mental health conditions. Similarly to psychedelic experiences, anesthesia dreaming can produce powerful, transformative experiences that change people's beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. Our approach could also help develop new, more effective treatments that can be widely used, for example, to help people recover faster and feel better after surgery. Additionally, understanding how to induce dreams during anesthesia can also help us understand what is going on in our brains when we are having dream experiences or any conscious experiences, something that we know very little about. But ultimately, we hope that this new therapeutic approach can bring relief to all those who suffer.